Sometimes the transcendence of the moment is lost. There is no such thing as take two on the first time. Life is a one-camera shoot. Okay, now we get to the political stuff.
Political stuff.
Wrote this one during the campaign more than a year ago. It's called The Left-Hand Side of the Great Bell Curve. To build a fire in weather too cold and wet to describe, to nurture it from spark with clumsy frozen hands until the spindly fibers of flame can grow for themselves. This is the impossibility of time, and yet it is what we do, because time has had all of time in which to do it, to make us. With such a miracle, it is easy to forget that the left-hand side of the bell curve is there at all. Technology springs to life with images and clanging sounds showing us everyone who plays at the casino wins big, wins beyond their dreams, wins beyond knowing what to do with it all. And yet, it is there, the left-hand side of the bell curve. The Greyhound bus one-way ticket to Palookaville. That is the far more likely outcome when there are no clocks and there is no sense of proportion. Crooked Donald repeats the mantra of Crooked Hillary over and over and over, following the recipe. If it worked for Hitler, if it worked for Goebbels, why would it not work here as well? We have the very same left-hand side of the bell curve. We want Krishna, we really do, but Shiva has unlimited corporate funding. She shoots caribou from a helicopter with a high-caliber rifle and then walks the red carpet in high heels to her G5 jet. Such is the mindless binge that unwinds the ends of karmic development. For every miracle of fire on the frozen tundra, there are piles and piles of winter's bones, enough to make us want to understand something about the left-hand side of the bell curve. What would others say across the Milky Way? Is there another George Armstrong Custer currently raiding the Virgo supercluster? And who is there to see ya in the great Laniakea that looks down on the Milky Way like a grain of sand? While we cannot regulate our dose, perhaps we should not get too close to the great attractor. It seems that all the gravities of 100 million galaxies are affected by its pull from the empty void. Still, perhaps it would be best not to broadcast the rest of the Republican convention into outer space. A little discretion, please, before some distant predator sees how easily we are manipulated. Or perhaps it is not the distant ones that we should fear. Perhaps our greater enemies are near. I think they are already here. They are the ones who have the nerve, who have the means and the prefab schemes to move the strong emotions, to send missiles across the oceans. They ride the top and they think they deserve to manipulate both sides of the great bell curve.
Wow, all right.
Did I mention it was political time?
Yes, yes, yes.
This one's called Hitler, Mussolini, and Donald Trump. It was actually written during the campaign before all of that nonsense happened. My friend Larry insists that Donald Trump is the new Hitler. My friend Mo says that Larry is crazy and that Donald Trump is the new Mussolini. My friend Curly Joe, who seems rather bald to me, insists that Donald Trump is neither. He's the new Caesar, he says, the new Nero. I think they're all wrong. I asked Larry what he's going to do about it. I'll write a poem, he said, closely examining the vein structure of a leaf. In the poem, I will strip away all the leaf meat, leaving just the veins, and then I will crush the leaf veins in my hands, and that will make people see once and for all how raw and evil Donald Trump really is. I asked Mo what he was going to do about it. I will do performance art, he said. I will invite the media to cover it. I will go out to the beach, dig a hole, and bury my head in the sand. This will symbolize the willing blindness of the media to the essential evil that is Donald Trump. It will symbolize the willing blindness of the public, of us who are too involved in our own lives to pay attention to what is happening around us. I know this Burmese monk who will lend me his orange robe for just such an occasion. He even offered me his lighter. Then Mo hesitated. Well, I would do that, he said, except that all of the sands in San Francisco's beaches are black with oil. I don't know whether it's leftover from the Costco Busan tanker spill or from the Dubai Star tanker spill or for some more recent spill that they haven't even told us about. Performance art is damned inconvenient. I knew I could depend upon Curly Joe. He's a man of action. There's a special at the Big 5 sporting goods store in Daly City, he said. I can get 20% off on a semi-automatic Colt. You have to go north of 400 to go semi, but I figured, hey, it's a special occasion, and I paid more than that for my iPad. I know the same monk that Mo knows, and he'd probably lend me his robe too. Holy shit, I asked, are you going to shoot Donald Trump? Curly Joe looked up at the sky and thought for a full minute. Then he looked down and he sighed. No, I suppose not. I'm just not that person. I suppose it will be a bale of hay, but damn it, I have to shoot something. And then he broke down and cried. I feel badly for Curly Joe. I feel badly for Mo, and I feel badly for Larry. I feel badly about the existence of all those dark forces that would make stooges of us all. But mainly, I feel badly for the dream I once had that we were all better than this, and that the things we do here in this 5-dimensional space-time would actually make a difference. And this one is because Buford liked it. It's called You Have the Right to Remain Silent. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to just sit by and watch it all happen while Donald Trump and an ever so long list of right-minded wingnuts drag what used to be this country back into the days of the Roman Empire. Back to the days when there was no middle class and the few at the top splendored in the riches created by their slaves. They saw no shame in that. No shame at all. You have the right to remain silent. You may, if you wish, scribble down a little poem and read it to a few friends at a local coffee house. You may even walk down Market Street with 20,000 other people and express some disapproval of the way things are. You may clear your throat like a British nobleman or cluck your tongue like a disapproving clergy. You may even cling steadfastly to the idea that any of your actions will ever have the slightest effect on the powers that be. Just so long as that you remember, it was written into the Constitution. $1, 1 vote. And then again, an extra free and discretionary $1, 1 vote. And then again, 1 extra free and discretionary $1 million, 1 vote. Because we just want to keep things simple. You don't have an extra free and discretionary $1 million, do you? Well, then why am I talking to you? You will always have the right to remain silent. I saw the day when we put 250,000 people in the Capitol Mall. Noble words rang through the speakers and we all went home. but the war kept going on. A Buddhist monk set himself on fire, and the wars kept going on. Phil Oakes committed suicide, and the wars kept going on. The machines of loving grace that Donald Trump believes watch over us all now have much faster processors. They can now consider 1 million action alternatives before we can get our heads around one. My friends long ago hypothesized that if somehow they could just pop off Nixon, maybe that would turn things around. Maybe that would bring our men and women home from all the wars. They did not know about the mushrooms in Michigan that cover 4 square miles with spores that are all just part of exactly the same mushroom. You pop off Nixon, you pop off Hoover, hell, you even pop off Reagan, Bush, and Trump, and Cheney and Trump, and the Koch brothers and Trump, and Steve Bannon and Trump, and Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan and Trump, and Kellyanne Conway and Sean Spicer and Bill O'Reilly and Fox News and Trump, and you still haven't made a dent. The substructure of stolen money at the top will just generate new spores. The pervasive giant mushroom that strangles our state houses, that has gerrymandered our voting districts into farce, and that knows the coding of the voting machines, will teach us how to live in an autocratic society and give us all the full right to remain silent. But I am not a silent man. Instead, I will take my Indian drum and all of you out to a windy beach in San Francisco. We will take Marco harps too. We will beat the ancient rhythm and keep time with his harmonica. We will go to that place where the spirit of Steve Mackin resides. We will dance beside the waves, raise great poets from their graves. We will hear those words we crave written on shadows in Plato's cave. We will feed sacred grounds coffee to all who spend the starry night with us. It will be the night that we create art. We'll hear the poem about Dan Brady's fart. And we'll show the weakness of the clowns who would wield their power over us. And when the dawn is breaking, we will amplify the clouds. We will hold our heads unbowed. We will speak our thoughts aloud where no one is disallowed, where we think the thoughts unthinkable with a spirit that is unsinkable. Electric flashes will fill the airwaves. Our ohms will be the broadcast towers with Jimi Hendrix rhymes played through cathedral chimes. We will reach across the stratosphere and integrate all times. We will discover that we've never, ever been alone. Suddenly, we see the faces that join in our parade with ideas that never fade. We will know that we have made just another link in one long, unending chain. Yes, we have all the right to remain silent. I have the right to remain silent, but I won't. You have the right to remain silent, but I don't think you will. We all have the right to remain silent, but we never, ever will. That's it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Give him another round of applause for the evening.